What's good, people? Welcome to another episode of the Undiluted Media Football Show, or the Undiluted Football Show, whichever you like. I like the Undiluted Football Show, but here we go, guys. We're here back with another episode, and first things first, let's get on. The international break is over, but we got to start on the international break. And for those that don't know, it was the under-21s. They got knocked out by Croatia. I think it was Croatia. But put it this way, the England under-21s got knocked out again. Now, I said this on my podcast, and I said this with some of the guys from Undiluted Media. This is England. This was only the fourth win, so it was three before, but this is only the fourth win that England under-21s have had in European competition in the past 11 years, right? Which is mad if you think about it, considering the under-21 Euros is every 2 years. So I was thinking, listen, England had some very good youngsters in the under-21s. Last year, we had the Wan-Bissaka Premier League players, Wan-Bissaka, Mount, Maddison, Foden. They didn't get out their group stage. Now, these guys, Dwight McNeil, Smith Rowe, Curtis Jones, these are people that have played a couple Premier League minutes and played for decent sides. So I thought to myself, why is it that when it comes to the international, we're not good enough? And AD Boothroyd came out and said that, my job, which was weird. He came out and said, my job is not to win, my job is development for first team. But you can't develop bad players by, one, not winning. You're just teaching them how to lose. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's what England do at the end of the day, because we haven't won a major competition since '66. But it's just, I honestly think it's poor. I think AD Boothroyd should be sacked. I feel like for the comments alone, he should be sacked. I feel like we supposedly have very good players. I say supposedly because now I'm skeptical. We haven't performed in the under-21s for a certain amount of time where I'm now thinking, is it the managers, is it the players? Because we had Stuart Pearson there, we had Gareth Southgate as under-21s manager. We see these players in the Premier League and they're not half bad players. But when they go to play European football or international football with people around their age, they get shown up. So I'm thinking, why are these Premier League players not as good? Because I know, yes, listen, some of them are not all Premier League players, but some of them do play Premier League minutes. So Tom Davies, Eberici Eze, I know they didn't play the first couple of games, and I know they've been played out of position, and I know there's a lot of factors to take in. But it makes me have the question, do we overrate these players as much? Do we think because they play Premier League football, we automatically think that they should be, because we see the Premier League as the best, most competitive league in the world, right? So if we see them as, they are Premier League footballers, maybe we just overrate them. Now, overrated doesn't mean bad. I need to clarify when I say overrated. Overrated doesn't mean bad. You can be a good footballer and be overrated. Overrated just means that we project you to something that you're not, you know? So just because these guys play in the Premier League, it doesn't mean particularly that they're good, which is unfortunate, because at the end of the day, I feel like some of these players are good. I feel like there's some good amount of players, but it's a weird one, because for a country like England that can produce these players that can play Premier League minutes, why is it when we go to, listen, we didn't beat Switzerland under 21s, we couldn't beat Portugal. Now, Portugal probably have good under 21s, probably have the likes of Dalot and other people and stuff like that. But why is it when we get to the under 21s, we're just not good enough? It's a weird one for me. But in my opinion, Eddie Boothroyd should be sacked. I feel like we should just teach these players how to win, because how are we going to, if they can't win against in a lower, let's say a lower tier of international football, what makes us think we're going to do anything in a major tournament come the Euros or the World Cup? Now, I know obviously the under-21s, not some of the best players, like let's say Bellingham, for example, do like get fast-tracked into the first team. But under-21s football is just important. It teaches you international football. You play with people around your age mates. Competitions, you know what I mean? Like tournament experience. There's nothing like tournament experience. And the fact that we can't do any under-21s now, I don't know what we're going to expect to come to the Euros. But anyway, enough about those. Let's get on to Sergio Aguero is finally leaving the Premier League. As a Man United fan, as you can see from my top, I'm very happy. I saw, for some that don't know, there's a tweet where someone's auntie passed away and was like, it's an African tweet, so if you get it, they're like, auntie, the evil, like this auntie is now passed away. Thank God the evil she's done is like is enough. You know, like there's no more evil she's gonna do anymore. So thank God she's passed. I kind of feel like with that Aguero, like thank God he's out of the Premier League because this guy was a gunman. He was a shooter, and to see him play for my rivals, which is just horrible. Obviously, the massive Aguero goal. I'm not going to tell you what I've done that day because I cried. I'm not going to go on. Gives me bad memories, but we've got to respect this guy. There's only certain amount of players I feared going against up as a Man United fan. And Aguero is definitely one of them. I can name a couple of them. Michael Essien back at Chelsea, Yaya Toure, David Silva. Well, like when these guys were on the pitch, I thought, oh, like we just need them off as soon as possible. Like it's going to be very hard to try and do anything against these guys. And Sergio Aguero is one of them. His goal, he has the best goal to minutes ratio in Premier League history. I think that just says it all. Where do I rank him in my top Premier League strikers? Out and out strikers. He's definitely up there. Definitely top 3, top 5. Not top 5 Premier League players, but out and out strikers. Because I'm not going to class Henry as an out and out striker. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking like the Shearers, your Andy Coles, these type of people. Aguero is definitely up there, man. He's a baller. I'm glad he's leaving from a Man United perspective, but what a legend. He deserves a trophy at City because that's the only history they bloody have, the recent history they have. Bit petty there, but you know what I mean. But in all honesty, big ups to Aguero for doing what you've done in the Premier League. It's sad to see him go. But the question is now, because Aguero leaves, how do City replace Aguero? Now, I work with a couple of people who talk sport, and people say, oh, Haaland to go to City or Messi to go to City. Right now, I know Gabby Jesus might not be the number one in the future, but do City really need a striker? Like, I know they've played Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan false 9, and they ran away with the league. But at the same, yes, Man United scored. But at the same time, like, what do City need? Because really and truly, I don't feel like they're desperate for a striker. Yes, if they get a good striker, it will beat them. But the fact that they've got rid of Aguero, right? Because I know Aguero's been injured, he's had a lot of knee problems, and he's 32 going on to 33. But the fact that they've got rid of him shows that okay, we don't need you again. There's no point of giving you the contract. They've obviously weighed it in and said, all right, you're more of a con than pros now, so you can go. But are City going to break the bank for a striker? I don't think so. Maybe because Aguero is fit now. It's not like Aguero is injured right now. He's fit, right? And he still hasn't got back into the side. It's not like they're trying to save him for something. Gabby Jesus has been getting above him because obviously Aguero can't do the things that Pep wants him to do anymore. So do they need a striker? Maybe they do need a striker. And I'm just looking at it because they run away with the league. And like for a team that desperately needs a striker, like, are they going to, do you know what I mean? Like, do they really need it? But anyway, I digress. Could I see Haaland going to City? Not really. I don't think City are going to break the bank. One thing I think I could see, and I hope that like the Premier League do an NBA and block it, is if Harry Kane leaves the season and if he goes to Man City. That will be a Mazzoline. It will be like, for those that don't remember, it will be like Shearer. Shearer had 2 times to go to United. He rejected us. And then we got Cole. And then he rejected us again. And then we got Solskjaer. So it didn't work out too bad for us. But there was a time where if Shearer went to United, it would have been a wrap for everyone. United were already the best team. It's kind of the same situation now. United were the best team in the league. And you had the best striker in the league playing for, at the time, it was Blackburn, right? So, and Shearer won a title practically single-handedly with Blackburn. So imagine if that Shearer, because bear in mind, Shearer is the all-time Premier League goal scorer. His record is crazy. I still don't think Harry Kane beats his record. I know Harry Kane bagged 2 today, but Shearer's on 260. Like, if you think how many Premier League goals that is, that's disgusting. So, if City want a striker, just go for Harry Kane. It will. I hope the Premier League say like, no, allow that. And I hope Daniel Levy like won't sell him for more than at least 150, 160 or what not. I don't know if they're going to pay that, but I could see Harry Kane going to City because he wants to win. He's 28. He needs to go and win now. I don't see Man United breaking the bank for him. I feel like Man United would rather break the bank for Haaland rather than Harry Kane. And I feel like with Harry Kane, it's a finished product. You know exactly what you're getting on the tin. Pep Guardiola can just say like, you know what, screw it. Let's go get Harry Kane. boom, let's go get our Champions League. We've added one of the best strikers in the world. Let's go do it. So who knows? Harry Kane to City, maybe. I could see it. I don't want it to happen because it's gonna be peak for the whole Premier League. Like imagine going up against City and then they've got bloody Harry Kane. Like that's gonna be peak for everyone. But speaking of Haaland, obviously, if for people that don't know, he was his father and Mino Raiola were in Spain to go speak to Barcelona and Real Madrid, and then apparently went to London to go speak to the English clubs. Now, I still stand by what I said in previous episodes that I don't kind of see Haaland leaving this season. I feel like one, we all forgot that COVID has really like messed up football teams, right? Two, Haaland's release clause activates next season, not this season, not this summer, next summer, and it's 60 million. So really and truly, if Dortmund get, it all depends. I feel like if Dortmund get Champions League football, Haaland's like, I don't have to leave. You know, if I want to leave, then I can leave. It will be easier for me to leave next season because then I'll have an array. Because a lot of teams can pay 60 million next season, but a lot of teams are not going to go pay the 100 and something million they're going to offer this summer. So really and truly, why does he have to leave? I feel like if Dortmund don't get Champions League football and he's like, you know what, I want to play Champions League football, I need to kind of force my way out, then there's something to look at. But right now, I just don't see it. Fair enough, his dad has gone to different clubs and he's testing waters and they're I wouldn't say whoring him out. They're not whoring him out, but they're like shopping him around and see what they can do and see what teams got to offer. But it all comes down to Dortmund's asking price. And we know what Dortmund are like. They will get their money's worth. We saw it with Sancho where they were saying, now we want 108 mil. So if Sancho went for 108 mil last season, what the hell is Haaland going to go for? And who is going to pay that money this summer? Like, I know I'm not saying he's not worth it because he is. If you look at it, and probably he's going to be over years, he's definitely going to be worth it. But who is going to pay that money? Would you rather just wait for him to play at Dortmund for another season and then be like, okay, cool, summer's activated. Now I can, because the perks of a release clause is that all I have to do is pay said amount and then that is it. I can negotiate. You don't have to be involved. As long as I pay said amount, the release clause doesn't activate, so it's going to be negotiating. You're going to have to pay 150. Mate, I'm talking, Haaland's probably going to go for, in euros, probably like north of 150 million, 100%. And I highly doubt City, United, Barca, I highly doubt anyone it'll be big. Obviously, it'll be a big transfer, but I highly doubt anyone. Think about it. Would you rather, I know maybe you need a striker now, right? But would you rather pay 150 million or 160 odd this summer and then be like, or just wait another year and then pay 60 million with like less negotiation? Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have to go now. I feel like if he goes, it all depends. The whole transfer saga depends on if Dortmund make Champions League football. But we shall wait and see if Dortmund make Champions League football. But yeah, we'll get onto the Premier League now as the Premier League's back. Couple results: Leicester versus City. City only need 11 points to win the title now. It's practically wrapped up. It was wrapped up ages ago. Congratulations to City. We're just going to see now how City come up against Dortmund. Because if they start, I feel like they could beat Dortmund. I feel like Dortmund are not, I'm not saying Dortmund are not that good, but against City, I feel like City will do the job. And they need, 11 points? Is it 11 points from 7 games? So league's practically done. Do you know what I mean? Congrats to City. Let's talk about Chelsea, though. And I did say this, and anyone can quote me on saying this. I always said that Chelsea fans just need to chill. Now, I'm not going to name names because I know some Chelsea fans, but they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to make the Champions League final. And they probably could because, listen, they've got Porto. I feel like they'll still beat Porto, and that's a semi-final right there. So, at the end of the day, I feel like Chelsea haven't been tested. Now, fair enough. I've let Madrid above me. I'll say that to anyone. Atletico Madrid was not a good test. I know they're top of the league, but I don't care. They're above me, and that's not it. And I felt like they haven't been humbled yet. And big up Sam Allardyce for just going to Stamford Bridge and just humbling them. Because now, like, I know Tuchel's having mad stats, and I was thinking, is Tuchel really that guy in the Premier League to only concede 2 goals? And now he's conceded 5 at home. So it's good. I'm happy that Allardyce has done his thing. And listen, they'll still get relegated, but it's a shock result. As we've seen this season, how many shock results have we seen this season where I can name you 7-2, Liverpool 6-1, United 9-0, 6-2. Like, we've seen these shock results, so it's nothing new. Fair enough, West Brom slapping Chelsea at Stamford Bridge 5-2 is crazy, and I know Chelsea are down to 10 men and still. Listen, Chelsea will still do what they need to do, but it's good to see Thomas Tuchel get humbled because now, how do they bounce back from this? I still feel like Chelsea need a striker. I still feel like they're a bit shaky. Timo Werner still doesn't even where the hell is Kai Havertz? Timo Werner still is not convincing. So I'm happy that Chelsea lost. Liverpool is a team I want to get onto because it wasn't, I feel like it was a couple weeks ago or maybe a month ago where Liverpool's European like top four chances were over. And we're like, all right, Liverpool can't make top four now. The only way, I think I even said it myself, Liverpool can't make top four now. The only way they can make top four is if they only way they can make Europe is if they win the Europa League. So I was like, okay, cool. All they need to do is win the Europa League, Champions League, sorry, and that's it. Like Liverpool could do that, but now I'm looking at it, and Liverpool are level on points with Tottenham. They're only 2 points away from fourth. Like what the hell, Chelsea, West Ham, Leicester. Like I thought Liverpool were down and out for the count. Now they're basically back in the race. Now, right now, I kind of, if I'm looking at a team, because they dealt with Arsenal, they looked very comfortable. Fabinho was back at 6, at the number 6 role, and looks very comfortable. So now I'm thinking, oh crap, we might have to consider Liverpool as a threat again. Will they make top 4? They probably will now, because as I said, I'm still not convinced about Chelsea. Tottenham, wishy-washy again. They dropped 2 points today. Could have gone fourth, actually. Could have gone fourth in goal difference. But once again, wishy-washy. Now Liverpool are probably going to get up there. Like what the hell? I thought, and Liverpool have lost 9 games this season. That's atrocious for Liverpool standard. And to think that they've lost 9 games and now they're only 2 points away from the Champions League spot is absolutely baffling. But big ups to Liverpool. Dare I say it? I feel like I threw out my mouth. But they just made light work of an Arsenal team, of a boring, dead Arsenal team. And like going on to Arsenal quickly, I just don't get them. I don't feel like Arteta's a good manager at all. I feel like yes, he won the trophy, and yes, you had your honeymoon period, but there's not like a style of play I've seen of Arsenal where I feel like okay, they just need to ride it out because this is where they. Sorry, Arsenal are they still 10th? Where are they now? Arsenal, yeah, they're back in 10th. Arsenal are back in 10th. Arsenal Football Club, I'm so sorry. As much as I don't like them, they should not be 10th at all. I don't care they're in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. They shouldn't be 10th. And I feel like if this was any other team, could be concerned. But, you know, Arteta, Pep Clout, dare I say it, we move. Spurs, typical Spursy, 2-1 up, finish the job, try and beat a dead Newcastle team, but Joe Willock equalizes. Now, as I said, it's typical Spursy, and Spurs need to realize that this is the only thing they need to fight for. So these games, they've got a cup final coming up against Man City, which they could well and truly lose. But these Premier League games, if they want European football, they need to start winning. They need to get maximum points. Jose Mourinho said it in his press conference. They need to get maximum points. And doing that, poor from Spurs, but history of the Tottenham, do you know what I mean? Fulham, I'm upset by Fulham because I watched that game. And I saw the second half. I said, yeah, Fulham are playing some really good football. I like it. Fulham are playing some really good football. But then next thing you know, Aston Villa just bang, bang, Trezeguet, quick fire, double, and they just collapsed. I know Tosin made a mistake at the back for the second one, and then the third one I didn't see. But it's unfortunate with Fulham because I feel like Fulham play good football. And I feel like I want them to stay up. But they shot themselves in the foot today. And if you shoot yourselves in the foot, you can't do that in the Premier League. Scott Parker will tell you that for free. You can't, and I like Scott Parker. I think he's cool. I like Fulham. They've got bare Nigerians in the team. Pick up Naira Marley FC. But if they want to stay up, they can't play like that. They need to learn how to just not concede stupid goals. Because listen, you can play. I've seen many teams play good football in the Premier League, but playing good football is not enough. Sometimes you just got to play them housery games and just get the result, get the points, part of the bus, learn how to defend. It's the teams that don't concede or make it hard to concede are the ones that win. That's why Burnley, sometimes it's very hard to beat Burnley. You can't, I would rather, if I'm a club that's come from the Championship, I feel like to stay in the Premier League is not about playing good football, because how many good football teams have we seen? Obviously, you've got to play good football, right? Well, actually, no, I don't think you do. you just got to make yourself hard to beat. You can make yourself hard to beat by playing good football, or you just have to be good enough to play good football. As you can see with Leeds, Leeds play good football. They're not hard to beat, but sometimes you can beat Leeds, sometimes they can slap you. It's just bass boss with Leeds. But teams like your Burnley, sometimes your Brightons, you know what I mean? There's some hard to beat teams where you have to graft and they know how to make it hard for you. Those are the teams that stay up. And right now, Fulham, it's not hard to beat them, unfortunately. They play good football, but they concede a lot of goals. And obviously, you don't want to concede goals, but you want to make it hard for the opposition. Try and make it hard for the opposition. Make them have to do more, because it's all well and good playing good football. I've seen many teams play good football. Swansea used to play good football. Norwich last season with Pookie and their man and Buendia, they played good football. But look, they weren't a hard to beat team. So that's that's for any team that come up from the Championship. You just got to make yourself hard to beat. That is what I think makes you stay in the Premier League. Just a reaction to United game. Now, I think we won 2-1. I didn't see the second goal. I saw the first one. It was a good finish by Rashford. I think Greenwood got the second. This is only his second Premier League goal of the season. His first one was against West Ham away. Good win for us, I think. Well, it's just a win, innit? Just keep second. That's all we can do, really. Stay in the Champions League, keep second, focus on the Europa League. But it's a weird one, because Henderson was started today. In the Mail was reported that De Gea might leave. I'm not particularly sure he will leave, because one, we'll get a lot of money for him. Two, I don't think anyone can afford his wage bill. But the thing that we need to consider is that Henderson signed that Suge Knight contract right at the start of this season, practically. And if you know Henderson, or if you watch any of his interviews, this guy believes in himself, and he thinks he's better than De Gea, right? Which, up to him, maybe he is. I don't know. I don't want to say, but to sign that contract, he must have said, "Listen, I must be getting first team football at some stage." So I don't know what's going on, in a sense that the fact that he signed a contract shows that, okay, he must be getting. I know he's getting a bit of a run in now, and he got a bit of running because De Gea had his child. But now that De Gea is back and De Gea and Henderson started, is this a sign of things to come? I'm not too sure. I feel like Henderson might play the Europa League again, and then we might play De Gea again in the Premier League. I don't know. But if he goes, where does De Gea go to? Because I know he has a massive wage bill. I know even our keepers alone are on a massive wage bill, because De Gea's on apparently 300 and something K. Henderson's probably on 100 or 100, 150 something. I don't know. But to have that wage bill, just keepers alone, one of them has to go. And Henderson feels like he's number one. He wants to be England's number one. I mean, you can't play if he's Man United's number one, eventually he'll be England's number one. There's no doubt about that. But we just need to make a decision. I'm not sure whether he goes. Maybe PSG. Maybe he's like a PSG want him. I don't really know, to be fair, but we'll see. We'll see if things to come. If De Gea gets dropped more and more, then we'll start to see some stuff. But previewing to Champions League football, this is where it gets juicy, because there's a couple good games. As I said earlier, Man City, Dortmund. We kind of previewed that one. I feel like Man City will do the job in the first leg. Then we've also got Real Liverpool. Liverpool look too good, in my opinion, for Real. They're going to be without Sergio Ramos. So as people know, if there's no Sergio Ramos, they're not getting through. They'll probably get knocked out. But I did one thing I did speak to about to Gazka Mendieta, and we're talking about the Liverpool Real Madrid. He said one thing about this is what Mendieta said to me. He said one thing about Real Madrid is that they don't need to be. The difference between Atletico and Barca is that their form. If Barca's in good form, they're in good form and they're not stopping. But if Barca are in bad form, don't expect them to jump out of it straight away. Real Madrid, they just turn up on the day. They can play bad and then just whack you. So, and they still have some talent there. But I'm not sure. I feel like right now, this Liverpool team, they're slowly getting their groove back. I know Arsenal isn't the greatest of tests, but Liverpool are slowly getting their groove back. And I won't be surprised if Liverpool deal with Real Madrid, especially Real Madrid without Sergio Ramos. So I won't be surprised in that situation. So if I had to put money on it, I'm probably going towards Liverpool. Bayern, PSG, Bayern all day long. I'm still not convinced by PSG. PSG are not doing that well in League A, to be honest. And I see also Bayern are just the best team in the world, in my opinion, at the moment. They're the Champions League winners, champions at the moment. PSG are not even doing well in League R right now. So, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really see them doing much. Because, Pochettino not doing well in the league. Who would have thought it? But anyway, that's agenda. Last but not least, Chelsea Porto. As I said earlier in the show, I always think Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea are going to go through. But if we say semi-finals, so really and truly, I see City going through. I think it'll be City Bayern semi-final, and then a Liverpool Chelsea semi-final. And I feel like I would love a Liverpool Chelsea semi-final. Reminds me of it'll just throw it back to 2005 of like the Luis Garcia stuff. I remember Liverpool Chelsea champion. Was it a quarter-final? I think it was like 4-4, and Chelsea got one on away goals or something like that. But look, if you go look up, Chelsea and Liverpool have had some really good Champions League ties, and I wouldn't mind that again with, especially with Tuchel and Klopp as well. So I feel like that would be a really, both ex-Dortmund. I feel like that would be a really good tie. If I had to give my Champions League winner right now, I don't see anyone beating Bayern at the moment. I feel like Bayern is still the best team in Europe. I'm still not convinced by City because I still think City can win a Champions League with like Gabby Jesus up front, if that makes sense. Or I don't feel like they can beat the big teams. I feel like they can deal with the Premier League easily, and that's not hard. But when it comes to, and maybe Dortmund's not the greatest of tests, but when they go to like a Bayern or something, do you know what I mean? Like a really good team like that, or maybe even a PSG, a team that can give City corn as well. Like, because City are beatable. I saw United deal with them, and we didn't even play that well. And I know City didn't play that well either, and I'm not saying just because United beat City that they can hold it. But if Gabby Jesus is going to be playing up front for them, I just don't feel like he's the guy to lead you to a Champions League trophy at the end of the day. So if I had to give my eventual winner for the Champions League, I would say Bayern. I still don't see anyone beating Bayern. But tomorrow also, before the Champions League, there's still 2 more Premier League games. We've got Everton versus Palace and Wolves versus West Ham. Wolves versus West Ham might be a good one because Wolves, they're not the Wolves they were last season, but they've still got a couple ballers, and West Ham and Lingard have been informed. West Ham will see the results from Tottenham, the results from Chelsea, and be like, this is an opportunity to get us back into the top 4. David Moyes says he wants to be in the top 4. Whether West Ham can do it away to Wolves will show that are they really top 4 quality. If West Ham want to put a statement, this is a big game for West Ham, I think. They want to put a statement and be like, all right, we're serious about this top 4 race. They need to get the 3 points at Molineux. Whether they do it tomorrow, I don't know. Last but not least, Everton Palace. It's a weird one. Don't be surprised if Palace win, because when you go against Palace, you never know what Palace turns up. It could be the Palace that you slap up 4-0, or it can get slapped up 7-0 by Liverpool, or it could be the Palace that beats you 3-1. Do you know what I mean? Like, you never know which Palace you're going to come up against. And one thing for certain, Everton have a really poor home record. Everton fans will tell you that for free. Their home record hasn't been great. So one thing we've got to think about is that can Everton, if you look at it on paper, they should win this game. Could Calvert-Lewin be scoring? Richarlison as well. They need those type of players to fire because they need to improve their home record. Because Everton are not too far from Everton are still well within the top 4 race. They're two games behind, 2 games behind 4th, and 5 points behind. So really, truly, if they win their both games in hand, they will be in 4th. If they win their 2 games in hand, obviously easier said than done, and they need to make work of Crystal Palace at home. But we shall see whether they do or not. I feel like I want to say yes to Everton because my head says yes, but then looking at their recent run of form, they got done up by Burnley with that Dwight McNeil screamer, and you just never know with Everton at home. You really don't know. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes up to Everton. But looking back at it now with Palace as well, Palace are they're just there. Do you know what I mean? Like Palace, they're not in the relegation. They're not like fighting for any European. They're just happy to be in the Premier League. And they've got some decent players, but it's what's next for Palace. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Palace fans, if any Palace fans are watching, they could back me in the sense that they're probably tired of mediocrity. They're thinking, what's next for us? Where do we go from here? How do we progress into that next stage? How do we go into maybe in the top half of the table, or maybe even challenging for Europa? Challenging for Europe is a bit much, but do you know what I mean? That should be where they're aiming towards, but we shall see. But I'm going to wrap it up there. It's another episode of the Undiluted Football Show. I've been your host, Toni Afoke. You can check my at there on, there we go, that side at Toni Afoke. Check out the Undiluted Football YouTube channel. Guys, share this with your friends. Like, subscribe, peace. Comment below if there's anything else that we should do, or if there's anything that you disagree with me and my football taste. You probably won't, because I have an elite football taste, but there you go. Guys, this has been another episode of the Undiluted Football Show. I've been your host, Toni Afoke. Until next time, people.